My child wanted to go viral. Unfortunately, this is the way that it had to happen. But he wanted to be a soccer player. Now recently again it went back to soccer. He wanted to be a YouTuber, but his biggest thing was he was going to be a star, and he will remain a star in my life.
He wanted to be a star, to kick the winning goal for South Africa, to hit record on his tiny YouTube channel, to make his mom proud. But instead, 11-year-old Jayden-Lee Meek became a hashtag. His face on posters, his name whispered in fear and anger across South Africa. What happened to Jaden Lee wasn't just a tragedy. It was a betrayal that unfolded right where he was supposed to feel safest. And as layers of bleach, tears, and lies began to peel away, the truth was even darker than anyone could have imagined. To continue with this story, hit the subscription button as a proof that you want justice for all killed and missing children. Share to everyone that needed to see this, and type where you watching from. This is the haunting story of Jayden-Lee Meek, a boy whose dreams ended on a staircase, and whose own mother would become the prime suspect in his murder. Jayden-Lee Meek had the kind of smile that could melt tension in a room. The kind of smile that made even the hardest day feel a little lighter. He loved soccer. He loved it so much that he told anyone who would listen that one day he would play professionally. But lately, Jaden Lee had a new dream. He wanted to be a YouTuber, recording videos on a borrowed phone, telling his friends that he was going to be famous one day, that the world would know his name. In the tight-knit streets of Fleurhof, Johannesburg, neighbors watched this small boy grow, running down narrow walkways with a soccer ball at his feet, waving to aunties, selling sweets by the gate, a gentle soul who made you believe the world could be kind again. Just days before Mother's Day, Jaden Lee made his mom a card. It was handmade, the way children do, with shaky handwriting and colors that went outside the lines. He promised her breakfast in bed and thanked her for always putting him first. On the envelope, he drew a heart, and inside it he wrote words that should have been comforting, words that should have remained a promise for years to come. Home is where my mom is. No one knew how chilling those words would become. It was May 13th, 2025, a Tuesday like any other. Jaden Lee woke up, put on his uniform, and left for school, waving goodbye like he always did, not knowing it would be the last time. After classes, he climbed into the same transport that dropped him off every day at 3:30 p.m., the same route, the same stop, the same walk home. But this time, Jaden Lee never walked through the door. His mother, Tiffany Meek, claimed she was working from home that day. She said she grew frantic as the minutes ticked by, as the sun started to sink, and Jaden Lee still wasn't home. She said she was worried, that something felt off. As darkness settled over Fleurhof, neighbors sprang into action. They searched every stairwell, every courtyard, every narrow street, calling out Jaden Lee's name into the cold night air. Mothers held flashlights, fathers checked under staircases, children called for their friend, hoping he would answer. But while the community searched, Tiffany did something strange. She refused to let the police search her flat, snapping that there was no need, that they wouldn't find anything there. Hours turned into a long, fearful night. By 6:40 p.m., Jaden Lee was officially reported missing, but the police didn't join the search. They left a desperate community to hunt alone in the dark, not knowing that the truth was much closer than anyone realized. Early on May 14th, 2025, a neighbor's worst nightmare became reality. In the gray dawn light, a small shape was seen lying on the cold concrete staircase, just 2 meters from Jaden Lee's front door. It was Jaden Lee. He was half naked, his small body bruised, but eerily clean, as if someone had tried to scrub away the truth with bleach and water. The child who once ran through those corridors with a soccer ball was now lifeless, placed where the world could find him, but not in time to save him. He was still warm when they found him, and they rushed him to the hospital, clinging to any hope that he might still open his eyes, that his small heart might keep beating. But it was too late. The heartbreak that swept through Fleurhof was like a wave crashing through narrow streets and tight rooms. Mothers clutched their children closer. Neighbors wept openly. Strangers lit candles at the foot of the stairs where he was found. And then the questions came. Why was Jaden Lee found so close to home, just steps from the place where he was meant to be safe? Why did Tiffany, his own mother, refuse to let the police search her flat when her son was missing? And why did it take so long for the police to act, leaving a community to search in the dark, while a little boy lay dying so close by? These questions would haunt Fleurhof, long after the sirens stopped, long after the crowds left, and long after the cameras turned away. The next day, the cameras rolled, and Jayden-Lee Meek stepped into the spotlight. Her tears streamed down her face as she pleaded with the police to find her son's killer. She called their efforts garbage, slamming them for failing to act quickly enough, for not searching when her boy was missing, for letting the community do what the police should have done. She spoke about Jaden Lee, her voice trembling, describing him as humble, bubbly, loved by everyone who met him. She painted the picture of a grieving mother, a mother shattered by the loss of her only child, begging for justice, demanding answers. But something felt off. Her words, meant to pull sympathy from viewers and neighbors, left an unsettling echo in the air. Her tears were real, but behind them there was something hollow, something that made people watching shift uncomfortably in their seats. Was this truly the grief of a mother seeking justice for her son? Or was it a carefully crafted performance, hiding something far darker beneath the surface? The questions began to grow louder, whispers turning into conversations in kitchens, in WhatsApp groups, in the queues at the shops. If Tiffany wanted people to see her as a mother demanding answers, why was there something in her eyes that made it hard to believe her? And if she was hiding something, what was it? As the days turned into weeks, the story Jayden-Lee Meek had told the world began to crack. Forensics stepped into the small flat in Fleurhof, and what they found turned suspicion into horror. Blood was discovered on Jaden Lee's bed, on his school books, and inside his bag. Tiffany tried to explain it away, claiming it was just a nosebleed, just a small accident from a child who was always active. But under the glow of UV lights, the truth glared back. Stains marked the bathroom tiles, splatters invisible to the naked eye. Now telling a story Tiffany could no longer hide. And then there were the receipts. Just hours after reporting her son missing, Tiffany went out and bought bleach, mops, and gloves. She told neighbors she was cleaning up, that the flat needed to be tidy. But neighbors had heard the thumps that came from her flat that night, heavy and sharp, sounds that made them pause in fear. Some smelled burning plastic drifting from her backyard at midnight. They saw smoke rising under the moonlight. Tiffany told them she was planting flowers, but the police began to see the truth that lay beneath the excuses. They now believed that Jaden Lee had been beaten inside that flat, that his small body was washed and dressed in clean clothes to hide what had happened, and then moved to the staircase, already lifeless, placed there while neighbors and volunteers searched, calling out his name, walking past the very door behind which the truth was hidden, all while his mother watched. Jayden-Lee Meek had carefully crafted an image for the world, a mother shattered by the loss of her son, demanding justice, pleading for answers on camera. But as investigators dug deeper, that image began to crumble. Neighbors started to talk, and what they revealed painted a different picture. They said Tiffany often left Jaden Lee alone at night, slipping out to meet clients, working as an adult escort, while her son waited alone in the small flat. They spoke of how she was obsessed with true crime, bragging that she could outsmart any detective, claiming she would never get caught if she ever did something wrong. And as the world watched Tiffany cry on TV, calling out the police for their failures, behind closed doors, she mocked their efforts, confident that no one would ever discover the truth. Inside her flat, police found a notebook, its pages covered in unsettling scribbles, phrases like, "No one will know." They found burn marks in her backyard, and neighbors recalled seeing her digging there late at night, smoke drifting into the dark sky. Tiffany said she was planting flowers, but the lies were catching up to her. The mother who once demanded justice in front of the cameras was now the primary suspect in her own son's murder, as the image she had built around herself began to collapse under the weight of the truth. In July 2025, the story that had haunted Fleurhof took a devastating turn. Tiffany Meek, the mother who once cried on camera and demanded justice for her son, was arrested, charged with the murder of 11-year-old Jayden Lee Meek. Investigators now believe that Tiffany struck Jaden Lee with a blunt object, causing fatal head trauma, and then tried to cover it up. They believe she cleaned his body, moved him to the staircase, and watched as neighbors searched in panic, calling out for the little boy who would never answer. As Tiffany sat in court, weeping, the residents of Fleurhof gathered outside. They held up pictures of Jaden Lee, smiling in his soccer kit, a boy who wanted to be a star, who wanted to make his mother proud, who should have had his whole life ahead of him. But now, those dreams were gone, leaving a community demanding answers, not just from Tiffany, but from a system that had failed to protect him. A system that had ignored warnings, delayed searches, and allowed a boy to slip through the cracks in the very place he was meant to be safe. The deputy police minister hinted that more arrests could follow, fueling theories that Tiffany didn't act alone. Some believe others helped her hide the truth, while others turned a blind eye, allowing this tragedy to unfold. As the community stood outside the courthouse, demanding justice for Jaden Lee, one thing became clear: this was no longer just a family's tragedy, it was a community's heartbreak, and a nation's call to protect its children before it's too late. As Tiffany Meek's bail hearing approaches, the evidence against her continues to mount. The photographs, the receipts, the bruises that tell a story she tried to erase. But alongside that evidence, the questions grow louder. How did the system fail to protect a child who was crying out for help? Why did it take so long for the police to act, while a community searched in the dark, hoping for a miracle that would never come? And how many children are suffering silently, right now, behind closed doors, while the world looks the other way? Jaden Lee's story is more than a headline, more than a case file or a tragic clip that scrolls by on your feed. It is a reminder of the darkness that can hide behind the safest of doors, and of the innocent lives caught in the crossfire of that darkness. If you believe in justice for Jaden Lee, and for children like him, don't look away. Subscribe, stay informed, and stand with those who fight for the voiceless, because the fight for justice should never be forgotten.